can absolutely expand that idea in a long, powerful motivational style. But before I do, I need to be clear on one thing. I can only write material that stays respectful and motivational, not explicit or objectifying. The theme you're asking about, energy speaks louder than words, can be expanded into a deep, mindset-based lesson about confidence, attraction, and personal magnetism in the tone and rhythm of a Bob Proctor-inspired speech without naming him. Here's that 750-word expansion focused entirely on the power of inner energy and how it silently shapes every connection. There's a certain power that doesn't need to shout, it doesn't need to explain, it doesn't even need to try. It's a quiet vibration that flows out of a person who knows who they are, who stands tall not because they want to be noticed, but because they are comfortable in their own skin. You've met people like that before. The moment they walk into a room, something shifts. You can't quite describe it, but you feel it. That's the invisible energy that speaks louder than words. It's the unspoken language of confidence, authenticity, and certainty. Most people spend their lives chasing approval. They try to say the right things, wear the right clothes, follow the right script, hoping the world will clap for them. But energy doesn't lie. You can't cover insecurity with fashion. You can't disguise fear with charm. And you can't fake presence with words. The universe responds to vibration, not vocabulary. Every thought you think, every emotion you hold, broadcasts a frequency. People don't respond to what you say. They respond to how you make them feel, and that feeling is created by the energy you carry inside. You can say all the right lines, but if your energy is needy, uncertain, or full of doubt, the world will reflect that right back at you. When you walk around seeking validation, your vibration says, I am incomplete. And energy always mirrors itself. So, what comes back to you? More situations, more people, more experiences that keep reminding you of that incompleteness. It's not punishment, it's feedback. The universe is showing you what you're radiating. But when you shift your energy, when you stop chasing and start being, the entire dynamic changes. You begin to carry yourself differently. You speak slower because you no longer rush for approval. You look people in the eye because you have nothing to hide. You smile not to please others because you're genuinely at peace. That peace is magnetic. It's what draws people toward you without effort. Think about it, real confidence isn't about volume or dominance. It's about calmness. The calmness of a person who knows their worth. That's why the most attractive people are often the most grounded. They don't perform. They simply exist with ease, and that ease becomes their language. Every movement, every gesture, every pause communicates assurance. It tells the world, I am enough. Energy is felt before it's seen. Long before someone notices your words or appearance, they've already felt your vibration. That's why first impressions are not about physical beauty. They're about the invisible field that surrounds you. When you walk into a place with gratitude, openness, and inner confidence, the environment responds. People may not understand it consciously, but they'll feel safe around you, inspired by you, drawn to you. To develop that kind of energy, you have to turn inward. You can't project strength if you constantly feed your mind with weakness. You can't radiate love if you're trapped in self-judgment. Your internal dialogue is the foundation of your outer energy. Every time you tell yourself you're not good enough, your energy contracts. Every time you appreciate yourself, your energy expands. Expansion attracts, contraction repels. That's not philosophy, it's physics of the mind. When you wake up each day, you are tuning your frequency. The thoughts you choose in the morning set the tone for every encounter you'll have that day. That's why gratitude is powerful. It instantly lifts your vibration. When you focus on what's working instead of what's missing, your energy turns into a magnet for good experiences. People who are constantly grateful glow differently. They radiate something words can't explain. That glow is not physical, it's spiritual. The truth is, you don't need to force attraction. You don't need tricks, lines, or strategies. You only need to align your energy with confidence, love, and authenticity. When your energy is clean, free from fear, need, and doubt, connections happen naturally. The right people find you not because you chase them, because your vibration calls to them. Every human being is wired to respond to energy. We pick up cues subconsciously. The tone, the presence, the emotion behind words. That's why two people can say the exact same sentence, yet one is ignored and the other captivates the room. It's not the sentence, it's the source. The one who speaks from self-assurance carries a current that resonates. The one who speaks from insecurity sends a signal of confusion. So, energy isn't just about attraction, it's about creation. It creates your results, your relationships, your reputation. You can't hide it, you can't cheat it, and you can't control others through it. You can only master it by mastering yourself. When you take responsibility for how you feel, when you choose to elevate your state of being instead of waiting for circumstances to change, you become powerful in a way that words can't describe. The most magnetic energy of all is authenticity. When you are unapologetically yourself, without masks, without pretense, you emit trust, and trust is irresistible. Everyone is searching for something real, and when you show up as real, you stand out in a world full of performances. Would you like me to continue with key point 2, high confidence over control, next, in the same tone and style? Confidence is not the loudest voice in the room, it's the calmest one. It's not found in arrogance, or in trying to prove a point, or in controlling how others see you. It lives quietly in self-awareness. Confidence doesn't scream, it radiates. It is the difference between trying to manipulate life and learning to flow with it. The moment you stop needing to control outcomes, the moment you stop chasing the approval of others, something incredible happens. Your energy shifts from resistance to allowance. And that shift is where real power begins. Most people misunderstand confidence. They think it's about being dominant, about being louder or smarter or more impressive than others. But true confidence doesn't come from comparison. It comes from clarity. When you know who you are and what you stand for, you no longer need to convince anyone of your worth. You don't chase attention, because attention naturally finds you. You don't demand respect, because your presence commands it. You become like a mountain, still, grounded, unshakable. Control is rooted in fear. It's the belief that if you don't manage every detail, things will fall apart. But life doesn't respond to fear, it responds to faith. When you try to control everything, people, situations, perceptions, you block the natural flow of opportunity. You send out a vibration of doubt, and the universe mirrors it back to you. Confidence is the opposite. It's a surrender into certainty, a quiet knowing that everything will unfold as it should. When you trust that, you stop forcing outcomes and start aligning with them. Think about the times when you've tried too hard to impress someone. Maybe you rehearsed what to say, monitored every move, and analyzed their reactions. What happened? You probably felt anxious, disconnected, unnatural. That's because control kills connection. People can feel when your energy is desperate. They can sense when you're trying to get something from them instead of simply being with them. Confidence, on the other hand, is effortless. It's the art of being present, of allowing your truth to speak without performance. When you release control, your entire posture changes. Your shoulders drop, your breath deepens, your eyes soften. You stop performing and start existing. You stop trying to win others over and start living from a place of self-trust. That's what makes confident people magnetic. It's not their words. It's their comfort in silence. It's not their charm, it's their authenticity. They don't overthink what to say because they know their presence is enough. They don't seek validation because they already validate themselves. Confidence is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting yourself even when you don't. It's knowing that no matter what happens, you will handle it. That inner certainty frees you from the need to control anything outside of you. When you stop needing to control others, you become emotionally free. Freedom is the highest form of confidence. It's the space where peace lives. The truth is, control is an illusion. You can't control how people feel about you, what they think of you, or what they do next. You can only control how you respond, how you show up, and how you carry your energy. The moment you release the grip of control, life starts to cooperate with you instead of resisting you. Opportunities come easier, people feel more at ease around you, and situations begin to flow naturally. It's as if the world recognizes your calm and reflects it. Confidence grows when you stop living from reaction and start living from creation. Reaction is fear-based, it's defensive, fragile, and unstable. Creation is faith-based, it's proactive, secure, and expansive. When you operate from creation, you stop letting the external world dictate your mood or self-worth. You set the tone, you define the atmosphere, and your calm becomes contagious. People can sense that you are not moved by chaos. You are the calm inside it. You build this kind of confidence through repetition. By showing up even when you feel doubt, by acting even when you're afraid, by learning that failure doesn't define you. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your confidence grows. Every time you choose honesty over manipulation, your self-respect deepens. Confidence is not a trait you're born with, it's a muscle you build by trusting yourself repeatedly. It also grows when you let go of needing perfection. Control hides behind perfectionism. It whispers that you must get everything right before you can feel good enough. But perfection is an endless race with no finish line. The truth is, people are not drawn to perfection. They're drawn to realness. Your imperfections make you human. Your honesty makes you powerful. When you stop trying to be perfect, you make space for authenticity, and authenticity is what connects hearts. Confidence doesn't chase, it attracts. It doesn't rush, it flows. It doesn't beg, it believes. The person who embodies quiet confidence walks differently. They listen more. They speak with purpose. They aren't in a hurry to fill silence because they are comfortable within themselves. When you reach that level of self-assurance, your energy becomes a signal to the world, I am enough. And that signal draws in experiences and people that match it. When you stop trying to control how life unfolds, you begin to notice how much easier everything becomes. The right opportunities show up without struggle. The right people enter your life without effort. Control closes your hand, confidence opens it. Control demands, confidence allows. Control worries, confidence trusts. It's the difference between swimming against the current and floating with it. One exhausts you, the other carries you. Every time you let go of the need to manipulate an outcome, you strengthen your faith in yourself and in the flow of life. Every time you choose presence over pressure, you invite peace into your mind. That peace becomes visible in how you speak, how you move, how you listen. It's not about being perfect or powerful. It's about being aligned. Aligned with your truth, your purpose, and your faith in the unseen order of things. That is where true confidence lies, and from that space, control becomes unnecessary because certainty has already taken its place. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize that constantly seeking validation from others is an endless road. No matter how much approval you collect, it never feels like enough. You can gain attention, compliments, even temporary admiration, but the moment it fades, the emptiness returns. That's because validation is external, and anything external can be taken away. Purpose, however, is internal. It doesn't depend on anyone's opinion or recognition. It's rooted deep within your being, unshakable, untouchable, and entirely your own. The shift from need to purpose is the point where your entire energy transforms. It's the line between desperation and direction, between chasing and creating, between existing for others and living for yourself. When you operate from need, your energy is scattered. You live in reaction to everything around you. If someone praises you, you feel good. If someone criticizes you, you fall apart. You ride the emotional waves of the world, never truly anchored in yourself. You begin to live as a reflection of others' perceptions. But when you operate from purpose, your energy stabilizes. You no longer chase approval because you are anchored in your own knowing. You stop asking, "What will they think of me?" and start asking, "Does this align with my truth?" That one change rewires your entire existence. The need for validation is one of the greatest traps of human behavior. It's subtle because it disguises itself as motivation. You might tell yourself you're working hard for success, recognition, or love, but underneath it, there's often a silent voice saying, "I need to prove I'm enough." That voice keeps you chasing achievements not for fulfillment, but for worth. You start measuring your value by numbers, by attention, by how much people notice you. And in doing so, you give away your power. Because now your happiness is in someone else's hands. Living with purpose takes that power back. It's the moment you stop needing to prove yourself and start expressing yourself. It's when your actions are no longer about being seen, but about being true. You begin to move differently, speak differently, think differently. You stop living from a place of lack and start living from a place of overflow. Purpose gives meaning to your actions. It connects your work, your relationships, and your choices to something bigger than personal gain. It's not about how much you get, it's about how much you give. The irony is that when you stop chasing validation and start living from purpose, the world begins to validate you naturally. Not because you're trying to impress it, but because your energy becomes undeniable. People are drawn to those who are clear about who they are. They sense it, they respect it, they want to be around it. Purpose emits a frequency of certainty that cannot be faked. It's not loud, but it's powerful. It's not aggressive, but it's magnetic. Many people fear letting go of the need for validation because they think it will make them lose their drive. But the opposite happens. When your motivation comes from purpose instead of need, your energy multiplies. You stop running on anxiety and start running on alignment. You no longer wake up with the pressure to perform, you wake up with the excitement to express. You no longer fear failure because you understand that failure doesn't define your worth. It refines your purpose. That shift from fear to faith changes everything about how you show up. Purpose doesn't mean having everything figured out. It means being guided by a sense of why. It's the difference between doing something for applause and doing it because it feels right in your soul. When you operate from purpose, even the smallest actions carry meaning. You could be talking to one person or 1,000. The energy is the same because your intention is the same. That kind of consistency builds inner strength that external rewards can never provide. When you live from need, every setback feels personal. You interpret rejection as proof that you're not good enough. You chase reassurance from people who can't give you what you truly need. But when you live from purpose, rejection doesn't define you. It redirects you. It becomes guidance instead of punishment. You start to see that not every door that closes is a loss. Some doors are closed to protect your alignment. Purpose teaches you to trust timing, to trust detours, to trust the process. To move from need to purpose, you must first recognize the patterns that keep you stuck. Notice how often you make choices to please others rather than to honor yourself. Notice how often you say yes when your soul is screaming no. Every time you betray your own truth for acceptance, you shrink your energy. Every time you stand by your truth, even when it's uncomfortable, you expand it. Purpose begins in those moments of courage, the ones where you choose authenticity over approval. Purpose also requires silence. You can't hear it when you're constantly surrounded by noise. opinions, and distractions. It speaks in the stillness. It whispers through your intuition, your passions, and your curiosity. It's that spark that lights up when you talk about something that matters to you. Follow that spark. Nurture it. The more you honor it, the louder it becomes. And soon it stops whispering. It becomes a force that drives every part of your being. The most powerful people are not those who control others, but those who are controlled by purpose. They don't waste time seeking approval because they are too busy fulfilling their mission. They don't chase attention. They attract it through authenticity. They move through life with intention, not desperation. That's why their presence feels different. Grounded, peaceful, certain. You can feel when someone is living from purpose because they radiate meaning. When you stop needing people to tell you that you're valuable, you finally realize you always were. You no longer perform for applause. You perform for alignment. You don't need to be seen to know that you matter. The fulfillment you once sought from others begins to grow from within. It's quieter, deeper, and far more stable. You stop measuring your life by how many people approve of you and start measuring it by how aligned you are with your purpose. That's the shift from external validation to internal vision. The moment when need dissolves and destiny begins to unfold from the inside out. The mind is the most powerful tool you possess, yet for most people it becomes their greatest enemy. It's not the world that holds them back. It's not the circumstances. It's not other people. It's the stories they repeat inside their own heads. Every emotion, every action, every result begins with a thought. And that thought, if repeated often enough, becomes a belief. Those beliefs shape the vibration you send into the world. Mastering your mind is not about suppressing thoughts. It's about understanding them, reshaping them, and choosing which ones deserve to stay. The way you think determines the way you feel, and the way you feel determines what you attract. Change the thought, and you change the feeling. Change the feeling, and you change your entire experience of life. Most people live in reaction to their minds. They let random thoughts run wild, and then they wonder why their emotions swing like a pendulum. One day they're inspired, the next they're defeated. That's not because life changed overnight. It's because their thinking did. The mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant will grow. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and lack, you'll harvest anxiety and frustration. But if you plant seeds of faith, gratitude, and confidence, you'll harvest peace and clarity. The soil doesn't judge the seed. It just grows whatever you give it. The same is true for your mind. It's always listening, always shaping your reality according to what you feed it. When you begin to master your mind, you take back control of your energy. You start to realize that your emotions are not happening to you. They are being created by you. The thought, I can't, produces a feeling of weakness. The thought, I can, produces a feeling of power. Those feelings then dictate your actions, and your actions shape your destiny. That's why two people can face the exact same challenge and come out with completely different results. It's not the situation, it's the mindset. The one who sees opportunity instead of obstacle will always rise above. Negative thinking is a habit, not a truth. It's the result of years of conditioning from parents, teachers, society, and experience. The good news is habits can be changed. Every time you catch yourself falling into old patterns of worry or self-doubt, that's your signal to pause and reframe. Instead of saying, this is hard, say, this is a lesson. Instead of thinking, nothing ever works out for me, try, everything is teaching me something valuable. That one shift in perspective doesn't just change your mindset, it changes your energy field. You begin to attract solutions instead of problems, opportunities instead of obstacles. Your emotions are the compass of your vibration. When you feel low, it's not a punishment. It's feedback. It's your inner system telling you that your thoughts are out of alignment with your truth. The moment you start thinking in harmony with your highest self, your emotions lift naturally. That's why you don't have to chase happiness. You only have to align your thinking with it. Gratitude, for example, is one of the fastest ways to shift your vibration. You can't feel fear and gratitude at the same time. Gratitude rewires the mind from lack to abundance. When you train yourself to focus on what's working, your energy expands, and life begins to reflect that expansion back to you. Your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's imagined. It accepts whatever you repeat. If you constantly tell yourself you're unlucky, the subconscious will shape your actions and perceptions to match that belief. If you tell yourself you're capable, opportunities will start appearing that confirm it. This isn't magic. It's mental alignment. The mind will always find evidence for what it believes. That's why guarding your inner dialogue is crucial. Every time you affirm something negative, you're reinforcing the very pattern you want to escape. But every time you speak possibility, you're carving a new path in your neural network. One that leads toward growth, confidence, and success. Mastering your mind requires awareness. You have to watch your thoughts the way a gatekeeper watches the entrance to a city. You decide what gets in and what stays out. The moment you catch yourself spiraling into fear or comparison, pause, breathe, Ask yourself, is this thought empowering me or weakening me? If it weakens you, release it. Replace it with one that strengthens you. Over time, this becomes automatic. You begin to think on purpose instead of by habit. That's when the mind stops controlling you and you start directing it. Your external world is a mirror of your internal state. If you want to change what's happening around you, start by changing what's happening within you. The more disciplined your thinking becomes, the more peaceful your life feels. Peace is not the absence of problems, it's the presence of mental clarity. When your mind is clear, even chaos becomes manageable. When your mind is cluttered, even small challenges feel unbearable. That's why daily mental hygiene is just as important as physical hygiene. You wouldn't leave your body unclean, so why leave your thoughts unchecked? Meditation, journaling, and affirmations are tools that help you reset and reprogram your internal patterns. Another part of mastering your mind is understanding that focus is power. Wherever your attention goes, your energy flows. If you focus on what's missing, you'll experience more lack. If you focus on what's possible, you'll experience more opportunity. The universe amplifies the energy of your dominant thoughts. That's why it's essential to become intentional with where you place your mental energy. When you wake up, choose your focus before the world does it for you. Start the day by declaring how you want to feel, not by reacting to how things appear. That's how you shift from being at the mercy of your thoughts to becoming the master of them. Your mind is a tool meant to serve you, not a master meant to control you. It's like a powerful engine. If you drive it with awareness, it can take you anywhere. But if you leave it unattended, it can crash you into walls of your own making. Every time you redirect your thoughts toward faith, gratitude, and strength, you take back the steering wheel. You remind yourself that circumstances are temporary, but mindset is permanent. You realize that the true battle was never outside. It was always within, between the part of you that doubts and the part of you that knows. When the knowing becomes stronger than the doubt, the mind becomes your ally, and your life begins to move in the direction of your highest potential.